We got a bombshell report that we're going to be diving into on today's show around the Chicago Bulls and the Detroit Pistons. Apparently, talks have started around a trade centered around Zach LaVine via The Athletic. So we're going to be diving into that full report on today's video. But before we dive into that, I got some beef with you guys. 69% of you guys over the last 28 days are not subscribed to the channel. So if you guys want to help me out and maybe get that number up to 35%, I would really, really appreciate it. We cover the Bulls, or the latest Bulls trade rumors, better than anybody, so help us out. Hit that subscribe button. It's free, it's easy, and help us reach 6,000 subs here on the channel. But let's dive into the latest around Zach LaVine. What's up, guys? Welcome into the Bulls Report. My name is Patrick Siepman. Like I said, on today's show, apparently talks have already started around Zach LaVine between the Detroit Pistons and the Chicago Bulls. And, you know, we've heard Zach LaVine been thrown in all types of trade rumors this season. It turns out the Pistons are the last team to kind of get their name in the bunch. But this is actually what James Edwards had to say, who is the Pistons beat reporter for The Athletic. And he had this bombshell report saying the Chicago Bulls and Pistons have had conversations involving Zach LaVine, league sources say. Chicago appears to be locked in on a package involving Bojan Bogdanovic and one of Detroit's blue chippers for LaVine and his hefty contract. Once again, the Pistons have shown no interest in parting with any of Cunningham, Ivey, Duren, or Thompson. It is possible Detroit considers adding LaVine when/if the Bulls' asking price goes down. However, those are discussions that will have been happening and that will continue to happen internally. So pretty cool right there. The Bulls and Pistons are already starting conversations for a Zach LaVine trade. And obviously the biggest reason why, personally from the Bulls side of things, why I want to trade LaVine, you guys have heard me say this countless times on the channel, is because of his contract. His contract, you know, heading into the year, I didn't think it was too bad, but now looking at it, I think it's one of the worst contracts in the NBA. If you could somehow move off that and get a guy like Bogdanovic and one of the blue chippers that the Pistons are talking about, I would be interested. But in terms of Zach LaVine this season, listen, I thought it was going to be, you know, maybe like one of the Lakers, Heat, you know, Knicks maybe trying to trade LaVine heading into the season. But honestly, with his poor play, I don't know if a contender is really looking at him or looking at his production plus his contract as a true trade candidate at the deadline. I mean, his three-point shooting is probably the biggest concern. He was always floating around 40% throughout his NBA career. Now it's down to about 35.1%. So I don't know if a contender will really want to go get LaVine, which would make sense why a team like the Pistons may try to strike or try to buy in on LaVine while his trade value is really low. And that's why I get to this take. I think LaVine, and you guys may not fully understand this, but I think LaVine will go to a weird team. I think once the trade deadline comes around and we get that notification on my phone about or on our phones about possibly LaVine being dealt, I think we're gonna be like, wow, LaVine went to that team, LaVine went to the Pistons, LaVine went to the Spurs or like the Kings, or just a weird team. I don't think it's gonna be one of the teams like the Lakers, Knicks, or Heat who have been obviously connected to him. But let's dive into the Pistons side of things and the four players that they consider blue chips. And listen, it's funny that the Pistons have blue chips when they're about 4-40 on the season. But, you know, I do get it. Cade Cunningham, he's an absolute dog, and that would be my number one target, and probably pretty unlikely that the Bulls be able to swing him in a trade, but I actually do have a trade idea at the second half of today's video regarding Cunningham. But, man, he's 6'7", 220 pounds, plays the point guard position. I mean, he is fantastic, averaging almost 23 points a game this season, 7 assists, pretty efficient ball player as well. Does have some two-way ability in his game just naturally because of his 6'7" frame. I would be all in on Cade Cunningham. I would almost do whatever you can to get him to be the point guard of the future in Chicago. Big fan of his game. But if you guys want a big man, and this is one that I do think could be pretty damn likely, and that's Jalen Duren. Talk about Jalen Duren, man. He is that typical rim-protecting, kind of lob threat at the center position, and he is having a fantastic season. Really one of the more young and up-and-coming centers we have. And that's why I'm so confused, like, how the Pistons are bad, because Duren, guy I love. Cunningham, guy I love. How are the Pistons this bad? It kind of leaves question marks there. But his stats this season, 14 points a game, almost 12 rebounds, and shoots 65% from the field. Absolutely fantastic. If somehow the Bulls could get their hands on him in a LaVine trade, again, sign me up for that. Now let's kick it to one of the Thompson twins here, who hasn't been really playing too much this season. But when he's gotten in there, I thought he's looked pretty good. Honestly, he's a way more efficient player than I thought he would be in his rookie season. But, averaging 8 points a game. I like his aggressiveness on the boards for a 6'6" guard, almost averaging 7 rebounds a game, plus the 2 assists. Thompson is a kind of young and athletic prospect, which I don't think the Pistons would ever move off him, considering they just took him in the top 5 last season. So Thompson, again, one of their blue chip guys that I wanted to touch on. But here's one of those, if I had to pick out of any of the 4 that the Pistons are willing to move off of, it would be this guy right here, Jaden Ivey. And I absolutely love Jaden Ivey. And, I loved him coming out of college, kind of that bigger combo guard that can score at all 3 levels, elite at attacking the rim, and he's had a pretty good season. And we heard reports early on this year that he was not happy with his role in Detroit. Well, maybe he goes to Chicago and he could find himself a better role there. But averaging 14 points a night, 3.8 rebounds, 3.6 assists on 46% from the deck. Again, another guy, Jaden Ivey. I like him. I like Ivey. I like Thompson. I like Duren. And I like Cade Cunningham. But again, why are the Pistons so bad? It just leaves some concern on that standpoint. But in terms of just picking a player, I'm very curious to see what you Bulls fans have to say about this. If you guys had to pick one on the Bulls for the next 5 seasons, who would it be? Give me a ZL for Zach LaVine. Give me a CD for Cade Cunningham. This will be the pinned comment on today's video. So if YouTube throws an ad break your way, sit back, let it play, and I'm curious to see what you guys have to say. Coming up here in just a second, some Bulls and Pistons trade ideas around obviously the 4 blue chippers and Zach LaVine. I cooked up 2 trades. One would be my absolute pipe dream, and the other one is the trade that I actually think will go down on deadline day, so stay tuned for that. But first, I got to tell you guys about this sweet deal we have going on right now. If you guys head to chatsports.com/BullsCombo, you guys could get this 2 t-shirt pack for around 20% off. I actually got this past summer. I took advantage of this deal, and the deal is back. I love wearing these t-shirts. I actually also got this from Fanatics as well. They got a ton of great stuff over there. So if you guys want to take advantage of that deal, make sure you guys head to chatsports.com/BullsCombo. That link for you guys, if you guys want to click it and take advantage of it, put that in the description and comment section of today's show. So I wanted to get to this actually before we got to our trade ideas between the Bulls and the Pistons. One little key note. The Bulls, with this new front office of AKME, they have made absolutely no moves. They have made 1 trade since the 2022 season. Well, it's 2024, and that's actually last in the NBA. So in terms of all these trade deadline rumors, and I get it, guys, I'm sick of talking about them as well. But, I think as Bulls fans, we don't think they are as likely as maybe other teams' fan bases do because the Bulls just don't make moves. The Bulls are the kings of just staying put at the deadline. I'm hoping this year is different, but I did just want to make that keynote before we dive into these ideas. But this would be the blockbuster for me, man, and this would be the one that I would absolutely love. And I know what you might be saying. Oh, the Bulls already given up a first-round pick for this. Well, you're getting Cade Cunningham and Bojan Bogdanovic, Mike Muscala, and the Pistons will be getting Zach LaVine and a 2026 first-round pick. This would be a trade. I would be jumping for joy. I would be running around this Chat Sports studios, and we would be going live on the channel if this happened. I would absolutely love this move. But, I just don't know if the Pistons would ever consider moving off Cade. But in terms of Cade, let's go a little deeper here on his overall offensive capability. Listen, I'm a big fan of Cade Cunningham. He can get it done from all 3 levels. Obviously, the 3-point shooting numbers aren't as efficient as you would like. But again, his volume is through the roof. He's not playing on a true contender. He's playing in a bad basketball team, in my opinion, which leads to bad habits and bad shot selection, which I do think has rubbed off on Cade a little bit. But his catch and shoot 3-point percentage, 34.6. Pull-up 3-point percentage, 31.5. From the free throw line down, he's actually pretty efficient at 52.2. And then his pull-up midi, pretty solid as well at 41.1. Gets me to this point. Cade Cunningham is a franchise player. There is no doubt about it. I would do whatever it takes to get this guy in the Bulls organization. If you got to pair up LaVine and a first-round pick, and you're able to move off LaVine's contract, get a young and up-and-coming player like a Cade Cunningham, you sign me up any day of the week because the Bulls, you are stuck in this purgatory right now. Guys like Cade Cunningham, blue chippers like that, are taken in the top 5 of the NBA draft. Right now where the Bulls stay, they love being in the middle of the pack. The Bulls love being the most mid team in the NBA. If you could get your hands on a true blue chipper, you do it. He's a franchise guy. He can possibly be a second, first, third, whatever his max potential is, option on a championship team. but I'd be all in on him. But this was the trade idea that I cooked up. Again, this is a pipe dream for the Bulls, but would you do it? Would you accept this trade? A for accept, D for decline. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. Get down there, get active, and let me know if you would do it. So this is a trade idea that if I had to book it right now, and you kind of told me, like if you said, hey, Patrick, you got to make one trade on trade deadline day, what do you think's going to go down? I think it's this one. And listen, I would love this trade for the Bulls as well. You're trading Zach LaVine. Obviously, you're getting no picks in this deal, but you're getting more help in the front court in Bojan Bogdanovic and Isaiah Stewart, and you're getting a guy like Jaden Ivey. And I think this also allows the Bulls to maybe, if they do decide to move off Alex Caruso and send get 2 first-round picks back, maybe they also move off DeMar, you would have a guy like Ivey to step in and kind of replace some of those minutes where you would, think about this, get a young and up-and-coming player in Ivey, plus draft capital, and I think you're getting better in the front court. The Bulls, yes, they are in a bad position in the NBA right now, but are there certain moves that they can make at this deadline that can set themselves up, maybe not to be good in the immediate future, but to be good in 2 to 3 years down the line? But if the Bulls stand pat, I promise you, Bulls fans, that'll be the biggest mistake this basketball team will ever make, because you would be stuck in purgatory once again, which is the worst spot to be in any major sport. I'm just a little nervous that they might actually do it. But that's why you guys got to subscribe to the channel. Any report we get like the one we got today around the Bulls and Detroit Pistons, we'll have a video for you guys as ASAP. So make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Help us out. A lot of you guys that watch our videos aren't subscribed. You guys should change that. Hit that sub button. It's free. Easy way to show some love to the channel. See y'all next time. Go Bulls.